When we hear the word history, the first thing that comes into our mind was the indigenous or old way of living from the past. And yes, we're right, because it is also part of history. A history is the study of the human past as it is described in written documents left behind by humans. The past, with all of its complicated choices and events, it also includes society, people, and the problem from the past. Do you wonder about what happened from the past? Maybe we are all the same of what we are thinking when it comes in the past. Today, many of us dreaming that he or she could be part of history from the past, just like time traveling from present to past, and that was impossible. Stop dreaming. We could be a part of history for the future, and maybe that history could matter in future when it comes in economic status and its development. History and economy are strongly bonded. Maybe we can say historical events happened many years ago, but it could have a linkage to the present time. In United States, there is study proof that historical events can continue to matter today. According to their study, they knew that it gave evidences to its impact for today's living. Think about the colonialism of Spaniards and Americans here in Philippines. Imagine that they contributed a lot when it comes in development. Our ancestors have learned a lot of techniques in different things. What if they do not conquer our land? Maybe we're not experiencing this type of economy today. In order to deepen our knowledge about the question that we have already formulated, which how history affect economic status and development of a country, we searched some books and articles that would be our material to answer this question. And let me introduce to you our chosen article. When this article was written and what is the purpose of this article. This article is written in 2009 month of April, by a Canadian economist Nathan Nunn forthcoming in the Annual Review of Economics. This article provides a survey of a growing body of empirical evidence that points towards the important long-term effects that historic events can have on current economic development. Who is the author of this article? The author of this article is Nathan Nunn, and he was born on July 9, 1974 in Canada. He is a Canadian economist and Frederick E. Abbey Professor of Economics at Harvard University. Being one of the world's most prominent economic historians, he is known for his research on the long-term effects of slave trade on Africa. Professor Nunn's primary research interests are in political economy, economic history, economic development, cultural economics, and international trade. Now let us talk about one of his works, which is the importance of history for economic development. First of all, who and where does this article refer to? This article is for an economic historian or economist who intended to know more about the relationship of history or past events that can affect the present economic status of a country. This can also be used as a basis to guide and give certain institutions on how they are going to use the past events as an example to help the growth of the economy. Using his work as a basis, we will answer the question, how does history affect the economic status and development of a country? How it may help to understand the economic development. Specifically, this literature from Nathan Nunn would probably make us acquainted through different events in the past by merely conforming conceptual knowledges between the relation of history and economic development. As what it shows, it directly referring to how history greatly contributes to long-term economic development of a country, wherein education, levels of infrastructure, inward investment, savings, and political stability may not only be the case of reasons for the aggregation of economic development. Hence, we merely need to value our history as it also teaches us to move forward, recognize our mistakes and learn from them, and ultimately create a better existence for all. Some details from the book that supports, accordingly, estimates on differential effects of colonial rule across district within French West Africa provide strong support that colonial investments on education, health, and infrastructure have positive and persistent effects on current education, health, and infrastructure. Poolries, 2008a. While, on the recent study by Berger 2008 also uses micro-level data to identify long-term impacts of colonial policies and found out that it was necessary to develop an institutional structure and network to collect taxes, and to develop mechanisms to control corruption and incompetence of government officials and native chiefs. Overall, the empirical literature established the main fact that history really matters on the economic development. Related the lessons to our lives today. So, after all these studies and discussions, I hope you learned a lot. Technical attributes of a country doesn't only mean for its entire development, but with the essence of history itself, as it helps us to contribute to our moral understanding of every aspect, understand people and society, and understand change and how the society we live in came to be. How the question being answered by the book. However, as we better look in this creation or literature by Nathan Nunn, we will probably notice some studies with the uses of different instruments to gather a quite response or solution on how does history affect the economic status and development of a country. It was merely initiated by seminal contributions as an exciting new literature has emerged empirically examining whether historic events are important determinants of economic development today. Through a scrutinized study by the passionate researchers, they found based on their application of using different methods of instrument the strong support and extensive impact of colonial events on the current situation and experiences of the native people. So that, every particular areas, culture, values, and policies were driven by different historical events. The literature only emphasized an unexpected factor beside those technical attributes of a country that should be exhibited and well performed throughout its years. That's the reason why this literature directly answered a given question with ease, accuracy, and clarity. Is this article recommendable? Absolutely yes, especially when you're looking for literature that relates to economics and history. This paper is one advisable for you and it can help you. This article can give you knowledge on how history affects economic development. It provides evidence that supports the idea that history or events from the past can affect the economy today. It says that history matters, which is true, because this paper provides documents that contain important effects of certain historic events that contribute to economic development. It also includes the relationship between history and geography that can affect economic development, where geographic factors such as ecology, climate, natural endowments, and the disease environment can affect the growth of the economy. Reading and understanding the content of this will give you an idea on how certain events or historic events can contribute to the growth of the economy.